Now, leaders have started arriving in the Indian capital, New Delhi, for the G20 Summit. The leaders of world's major economy will kick off their discussions to coordinate policy on food security, debt problems, climate action and the war in Ukraine. Now, several leaders are already here, like UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. He landed in New Delhi and he was accompanied with his wife, Akshata Murthy. Sunak is expected to urge more support for Ukraine in the summit, and apart from that, a discussion on the India-UK trade deal and immigration policies is also expected. Now, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is, of course, slated to hold 15 bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the G20, 3 of which are scheduled today, of course, with the Mauritius, Bangladesh and the United States President, of course. Now, to give us more insights about what's happening, my colleague Bhairavi Singh is joining us live on this broadcast from the venue. Bhairavi, welcome to the broadcast. A while ago, the G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant was speaking on the summit declaration, in which he mentioned that India intends to make it inclusive, ambitious and action-driven. But in the same breath, he also said that a consensus remains a challenge. I want to ask you, how are you assessing this?
Right. Just a short while ago, as you said, the Indian Sherpa Amitabh Kant spoke extensively about the G20, hoping for a consensus. He said that the draft resolution is almost complete and there are many points on which there is convergence. Of course, Ukraine and Russia, the war over there remains a sore point between the West and Russia and China on the other side. Now, as far as India's focus on at G20 is concerned, it has remained on issues like IMF restructuring, debt restructuring, multilateral development banks, the easing up of funds for the global south, women's development, the regulation of cryptocurrencies. These are areas where China and Russia are willing to be on board. There have been several rounds of meetings in the lead up to the G20 Leaders Summit. There have been over 200 meetings. There have been talks at the Sherpa level, at the finance ministers level. And most of these conversations have ended up in, outcome documents with consensus. But there's been no joint communique at any of these ministerial level conversations, clearly indicating that the point of convergence is Russia and Ukraine. We'll have to see how that plays out, because from sources I'm picking up that all major Western nations, including America, the UK and France, are likely to push for some sort of, admonition, as it were, of Russia for the Ukraine war.
All right, now most of the world leaders, at least, they have started arriving in New Delhi, and the G20 summit is going to commence tomorrow. It's a 2-day summit, of course. You are joining us from the venue, Bhairavi. What is happening around us? How are the preparations that are underway?
Right. The whole area has been very hectic. I mean, hectic negotiations. There are over 3,000 journalists alone. There have been, there are large delegations from all countries. There's tight security here at the Bharat Mandapam, which can house over 7,000 people in 2 different auditoriums. There have been several layers of security. Getting here itself was quite tedious, I must add. There, as we've said, 130,000 security police officials are here manning New Delhi, out of which 80,000 are Delhi police. There are anti-drone systems in place. There's the Air Force, which is guarding the airspace. There's also CCTVs, at every step as we go. So the security, of course, remains tight. There are several delegations and off-camp briefings that also take place during, during this period. But of course, the questions of pull-asides, informal talks, all of that, flavor and color we're going to see tomorrow about what the dynamics are going to be between leaders. As we know that, a lot of leaders are still arriving. We know that Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has just arrived a few hours ago. Rishi Sunak arrived. So all those dynamics, the photo opportunities, the pull-asides, all of that will happen from tomorrow, of course.
All right, Bhairavi, thank you for getting us all those live updates from New Delhi.